What's up, Ragin Nation? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching the Ragin Ronin review. Last weekend, I watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It is a prequel. It is not another remake or reboot. This story actually covers all the events that happened before the events of the 1968 original. And all I gotta say is that it is absolutely fantastic. The movie is, I could use a whole bunch of descriptive words like outstanding, brilliant, fantastic, remarkable, and all those words would accurately describe the movie because it is fantastic. Rise of the Planet of the Apes just made me go bananas. It's just good old-fashioned science fiction storytelling. It plays out like a bedtime story that you're anxiously waiting to be told to you. What's great about this movie is that it defies all the rules of storytelling in films. For example, you would think that the main character is actually James Franco. It's not. The main character is in fact Caesar, and the way the director broke the rules is that the human characters are secondary. And what's also great is that this character does not speak, but we as an audience, we connect with the character of Caesar because we can see what he's thinking through his eyes and his facial expressions. We really feel for the character. We cannot wait for the moment that Caesar rises against the humans with his ape army. That is the thing that we're waiting for, and that is the rise of the apes. However, before that actually happens, before all the action takes place, we're treated to this amazing first and second act where we're introduced to the character of Caesar and all the different emotions that this character has to go through as an animal. And you don't always see a movie where halfway through the movie you just don't care about the humans anymore. Now all you care about is the apes and what they go through, and that's what this movie does. And even as a member of the audience, you're kind of thinking to yourself, am I supposed to cheer for the humans or the apes? And that's the beauty of this movie, because you think you're supposed to follow the human characters, but in actuality, the director throws a monkey wrench at you, pardon the pun, and then next thing you know, this is a movie where you're following a different main character, and that is an ape. We're no longer seeing scenes with James Franco and Frida Pinto and John Lithgow. Anyways, we just see scenes of the apes and all their interactions, and their interactions are some of the most amazing moments in the movie. The action in the third act is just secondary. Like, that is not even the big highlights of the movie. It is really Caesar's development. When you look into his eyes just tell a story. They made it look so realistic. If they had an Oscar category for CG characters, this would have to be Best Acting for a CG Character. Andy Serkis should get it, because he just does such an amazing job. Now I know why they continue to get Andy Serkis to play these characters. He played Gollum, he played King Kong, and now he's playing Caesar, and I know why, because he's just so good at it. Weta did an amazing job with the character animations, but it wasn't just the visual effects that made this movie work. Like I said before, it's the characters and the story. It's such a great story, and it is intelligent and thought-provoking storytelling. It ties into the 1968 original so well. Everything just glues together perfectly. And all along the director knew what he was doing. There's no monkey business here. Now we know there is this strong message about, you know, the way we treat animals in this movie, but I think what really stands out in this movie is just the fact that we're watching a great story unfold through the eyes of an animal without dialogue. All he communicates is through physical communication, sign language, and his eyes. And it's the eyes that give an animal personality. It's not about big action, explosions, gunfire, and big visual effects. It's not about that. It's about an outstanding character and the story of him as a small baby ape all the way to the leader of an army of apes that in the end take over the world. But the action is really cool. I mean, they just go ape shit. I highly recommend this movie. To me, it wasn't a movie where, okay, when's the action gonna happen? It's not like that at all. When the action happened, it was cool and exciting, but I thought that the first and second act were the best parts of the movie. Now, this movie isn't without flaws. The only thing that I wish they could have done better was the romance between James Franco and Frida Pinto. There was just no chemistry between them. I think that type of romance was very cliche, and she's the typical character that tries to reason with the main character from doing something risky. But John Lithgow, on the other hand, now he's the one that brings the realism and brings it to a a more human level, because his character is the one suffering from Alzheimer's disease, and because of that you understand why James Franco's character Will wants to get this cure. So that element of the story really brings it home for us as the audience. I have to say that this is a highly recommended movie. I actually want to go back and watch it again just because it was just that good. It's a very different movie from, let's say, Transformers, for example, because Transformers is a very action and visually driven movie, and when the action does happen, it's a thrill ride. This is a very different type of movie. This is just old-fashioned science fiction storytelling without the use of out-of-this-world sci-fi elements like, you know, a futuristic setting or, you know, spacecraft and aliens or all that kind of stuff. This is just old school science fiction storytelling at its finest. And it really makes you want to watch the original again if you haven't already seen it. And because I enjoyed the 1968 original, I noticed all the homages that they paid tribute to from the original, which was great. Definitely deserve points for that. So overall, 9 out of 10. I would give it a 10 out of 10 if they had fixed the chemistry and the romance. But other than that, this is a near perfect movie. This is why we go to the movies. For great stories and great characters, and that character just happens to be a CG character of an ape. This movie really does need to be seen. Rise of the Planet of the Apes gets a 9 out of 10, maybe even a 9.5 out of 10, and I recommend it to everyone. This is Alex Yu, and thanks for watching the Ragin Ronin review. Peace. Battle with the frost giants and Thor and his team of other gods is just epic. I felt like how I felt when I watched Lord of the Rings.